good to be back. All right. I'm going to invite you guys to stand and join in our opening hymn, I Behold the Christ in You. This is a great one.
Watching us via live stream, that we are sending you our love, that we truly know the value of our Unity family. So I know there's no one here for the first time because I know all these faces. I can see them all. That's also a blessing.
Well, I'll go ahead and do it. Well, hey,
I'm so glad you're
I'm just trying to keep things normal.
I'm so I'm going to go on with the announcements. We have a new book study starting from July 8th through the 30th on Thursdays from 1:30 to 3 p.m. The book is called Thoughts Are Things by Prentice Mulford. You can get the book from Amazon.com. And this book focuses on how you can heal your body and your relationships. So, if you're interested in doing the book study, you want to give Paula Warren a call. Her number will be over there on a sheet, because she wants to give you the information so that you can call in for the book study. And today is birthday and anniversary Sunday. I was just saying how I miss our cake and ice cream, but anyway. So anybody here today with a July birthday? Well, anyway, if you're at home, happy birthday. Anybody with a July anniversary? All right, happy anniversary too if you're at home. James. Our prayer chaplain today is Reverend Carol Ricketts. She's in the back there. So if you want prayer, she'll be happy to meet you in this corner and be happy to pray with you. I will be serving as board member today, so if you have any questions about the board or the church, I'll give it some serious consideration before I answer you. So would you please join me in our mission statement? Together, our mission is to provide a prosperous and loving community by connecting to God through prayer and following the teachings of Christ. Can we say that one more time, please? Our mission is to provide a prosperous and loving community by connecting to God through prayer and following the teachings of Christ.
All right. This is kind of a new one. We haven't done this in a long time. This is called Sunshine in My Soul Today. There is sunshine in my soul today. It's glorious and bright, ever glowing with morning rain. For sweet is my life. Oh, sunshine, blessed sunshine. Peaceful, happy moments roll. For here is the different face. Sunshine in my soul. There's springtime in my soul today. I know the Lord is here.
affirming our opening statement. Together, I am too blessed to be stressed. I am free with the freedom of spirit. All right, we have to say that one again. Together, I am too blessed to be stressed. I am free with the freedom of spirit. And let us pray. And we say, Father, Mother, God, living, loving presence. We know, Father, the importance of this day. And we're grateful for those who came before us, who have the know, the wherewithal to write that beautiful piece that we look to say that this is a free, safe country. We are grateful. We send out our love and our blessings. And I can understand why others who are struggling in other places would want to come. Again, we send them our love, and we are grateful to be a part of this great nation. And we ask this and all blessings in the name and through the power of the living cross. And so it is. Amen. Today's daily word is freedom. In thought, word, and action, I celebrate my freedom. There are many ways to feel free. I may work hard to become financially free. I may plan trips so I can freely explore the world. I may commit to learning for intellectual freedom or exercise my body for greater freedom of movement. Even as I do my work in the world to know freedom, I remember that I am always free at the level of spirit. No situation or circumstance has power over me. Every day and in every area of my life, I live from my divine nature, where I am wholly and completely free. Through my inner powers of understanding and faith, I recognize and embrace empowering beliefs. My spiritual gifts of strength and release keep me on course and help me free myself from habits that derail my spiritual growth. Through God within, I am grateful to be free. For freedom, Christ has set us free. Galatians 5:1.
Hello, Ray Charles this morning. Oh, beautiful, oh, she was through in liberating strife, who more than sell their country love and mercy more than life. is the verse you probably don't know. It goes like this. Oh, beautiful, spacious skies, for waves are great, for purple mountains, majesties above the fruited plain. America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Let's try one more time. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea, from sea to shining sea.
Thank you, James. That was beautiful. All right, so happy 4th of July. You got your freedom bands reminding you that you are free, right?
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, I haven't forgot my joke today, though. You're not free from that. Okay. So there's this Baptist minister who knows with all his heart that drinking is a sin, right? And he knows he's got a congregation that likes to go out there and party. So what am I going to do? I have to get them to see, or to get them to know that, drinking is a sin. We can't be doing it. So he gets up in a sermon and he tells them, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take all the bottles of wine in town and I'm going to throw them in the river. And I'm going to take all those cans of beers in town and I'm throwing them in the river. And I'm going to take all those bottles of whiskey and gin and tonic and I'm throwing them in the river so you guys can't drink. And when at the end of the sermon, the lady stands up who's in charge of singing the hymnals and she goes, let's all please stand and sing, "We are gathering at the river." You can try. Yes. So today we're celebrating our freedom, and I want to ask you if you've just had any moments in life where you have just felt on top of the world, where things were just going perfect, and you just try to hold on to that feeling as long as you can, because why? Because we have a tendency to believe that's not going to last very long, right? I mean, how many times have you felt that way in your lifetime? Maybe 2, 3 times? Or more. Maybe you're better than me and you've done it more than times. But my point today is we should be living that way all the time. All the time. Because in those moments where we have felt on top of the world, you want to know why? Because you have had control over your consciousness. You had had control over how you were thinking. You had had that total oneness with the God within you, and there was not a negative thing that could get in your mind that day, in that moment. You were there. You had it all together, and you believed in the love and the joy and the peace and the harmony of life. And you held on to it for as long as you could. But we believe, life has struggle to it. We believe that that moment's not going to last forever, right? We've taught ourselves that for some reason. That we can't stay in that place of pure joy and bliss only for a few minutes. And you want to know why? Because we're always counting on something outside of ourselves to create that feeling of joy and bliss. But if you can feel it when everything's going good, you better believe you can feel it when things on the outside don't look like they're going good. You can have that feeling anytime that you want it, because that's who you are. That feeling of joy, that feeling of bliss, that feeling of peace, that feeling that everything is going your way is who you are. It's who you are meant to be. God created you in His image and His likeness. Right? So we can live that way. We can live from that moment. But the other thing we have to figure out is that we are free. We may not have chains physically on our hands and feet. We may not have a physical taskmaster bringing us down. But we do. We have that little ego inside our head that likes to bring us down, telling us what we can't do. We have that little ego in our head that likes to be the taskmaster, that says, oh, I better watch the news to see if I'm going to be in a good mood or bad mood today, right? Or if the stock market's up or down, I gotta see if the stock market's up, I'll have a great day. If it's down, no, I have to start worrying because I'm not trusting God to provide for me, right? So we do this to ourselves. We do this with our intellectual ego that likes to be in control, who knows our past, who likes to say, oh, you want to believe that you're a divine child of God, that you should have this moment of joy every day of your life? I don't think so. I don't think so. You just lost your job yesterday. How could you be feeling that peace of joy and excitement that you get an opportunity to find a new job that you just might love to have? I know my boss from a long time ago, she used to use the words, I really need to get rid of all the junk in my house. And she would say it time and time again. And lo and behold, the universe took care of it. She burned down. She was cooking some shrimp on the stove and she forgot about it and she burnt her place down. And the only thing that was saved was a picture she had of a scripture that said, fear not, for I'm always with you. All right, so you could see maybe how you could find that joy even though your place had just burned down, that you were wanting to get rid of all that stuff anyway. Well, now you get some insurance money to go buy new things that you might like even better than what you had before, right? That you get that new furniture, that new stuff that you were wanting, but were too busy to do it yourself, right? So the universe has a way of taking care of your heart's desires, but we don't always see it that way, right? We just say, oh, you can't believe I left my shrimp on the stove and I burnt my house down. And then we beat up ourselves about it, right? We beat ourselves up. Dumb me. I didn't turn the stove off. When the universe is saying, rejoice, you got your new place. You were too stubborn to do it the way you should have done it. So look, I took care of it for you, all in one setting. And now you've got money to do all the remodeling you want to do. But we don't see it that way, do we? Not normally. When we're sick, we don't see it as a time to recuperate. We don't see it as a time of self-reflection. We don't see it as a time to reconnect with God that we have stepped away from in some form or manner. No, we like to beat ourselves up. We're getting sick. How did we do that? Wow, I gotta be at home. Well, maybe you're supposed to be at home. You know? So we need to find our freedom and our joy and our enthusiasm and our faith. Okay? If we can learn to step out of the drama, oh my God, my house just burnt down, what am I going to do? If we could step out of that drama and just say, I have faith in God, this is going to work out for the best for me, and I can stay in that place of joy and excitement, right? But we like to get caught up in the drama, and I'm not really sure why we like to do it sometimes. And it's fun sometimes. You can get a lot of attention that way. Oh, my house just burned down. Oh, let me take you out for dinner. You know, we do get some attention from the drama that goes on in our lives. And some people get sick because, yes, they get lots of attention. People come to see them. People call them when they're sick. So, are we done with the drama? I'm done with the drama. I don't need to have something dramatic to happen in order to have something to talk about, do you? No. So let's say, okay, I'm done with the drama because I'm a free soul living in the power and presence of God. And I have faith in that power and presence. And I'm getting my enthusiasm all exciting to see what God's going to do next, right? So Reverend Flo used to teach me when I would come in for counseling and tell her how bad things are. She would say, well, you know what? That just means God's getting ready to do something really exciting in your life. So you should be, yay, things are terrible. Things are about to get so much better. Now it's hard to do that when you're depressed and you're thinking life's not working out very well, just to say, yeah, I know God's here and God's going to make it all so much better. But that's when we're truly free, right? We detach ourselves from the outcome of what's happening. When we're truly free, we can go there. We can say, you know what? This relationship isn't working out very well, but I know God is in the midst of it. I know God has an answer, and it's going to be amazing what the answer is. And then I can stay in that place of faith and excitement and enthusiasm and know that God is working on it in and through me and in and through this other person. And then open yourself to see what happens. So we have to stir up our faith. We have to get our enthusiasm going. And then we have to let go and watch it unfold. As soon as my boss got over the drama of the fire, as soon as she got the insurance money, as soon as she started remodeling her place, she was excited. So why do we have to go through this thing where we like to beat ourselves up and put our own feelings in a place of bondage? We beat ourselves up for something we did. And we don't do it just once. We can play that same tape over and over and over. Oh, I should have said this, and then they would have said that, and then this would have all worked out, right? Or why did I say that? I can't believe I actually said something that hurt their feelings. We take it and we play it. Instead of thinking, well, you know what? I'm going to let go of that experience that I had with that person. I'm going to see it differently in my mind. I'm going to see it working out the way I wanted it to work out. And then just let God work in and through you. And when you see that person again, you will say the right and perfect thing. And you will work it out with them. But not as long as you keep playing that same tape over and over and over again about how awful the conversation went, how you feel so terrible after it happened. And we give our joy away. You're not in a place of joy when you're beating yourself up. So give yourself the freedom that you are a human being. We are delightfully human beings. We do sometimes say things we wish we hadn't said. Give yourself a break. Say, you know what? I know better than that, but I wasn't in the right place to say what I truly should have said. And just know that the universe is going to give you an opportunity to mend whatever that is, as long as you take the chains and the shackles off of you that want to beat yourself up every time for what you did. And you take them off and you say, God, I know you're here. I know you're right here in the midst of this situation. And I know you can give me the right and perfect words to say to straighten this situation out. And you speak from your heart instead of your head. And it will all work out. And then you can be in that place of joy and overcoming on top of the world because you are in control of your thoughts and of your feelings. When you're in that space of oneness with God and you're speaking from your heart, there's no way that you can hurt someone else because you're coming from a place of love. So, I'm ready to take those chains and shackles off. I don't want to beat myself up years after something happened because I said something wrong, I did something wrong. So let's take those chains off and love ourselves. Love ourselves. We're not perfect. There's nobody in this world that's perfect or we wouldn't be here. We would be gone doing other things. No one here is perfect. We're all doing the best that we can in the moment that we are in. So love yourself. Take those chains off that want to pull you down and beat you up because they don't serve you at all. They don't serve you at all. So I was looking for a story in the Bible that talks about freedom, and of course there's always the big story about Moses and Pharaoh, but I always use that story. So I wanted a new story. And there is a story in the New Testament with Jesus. And you got to think about Jesus because he was born in a very violent time. People got killed, crucified for going against the grain. So you have to know Jesus knew who he was, and that gave him the freedom to spread his message. He lived in a time where people believed that God was separate from them, that God was an idol, God was somebody up in the air, and that we were totally separate from God. And yet his message is, the Father and I are one. If you have seen me, you've seen the Father. He's telling you the kingdom of heaven is within. That's his message. In a world that doesn't believe that. So I want you to feel that sense of freedom that he had to spread his message, which is totally different than anything that's going on in the world. He went out and he spread the message that you are a divine child of God, that you have that spark of divinity with you, that you can do the things he has done and even greater things. He's telling people this when Romans are in rule, knowing that the Pharisees and the Sadducees are after him. It takes a great amount of freedom to be able to do that. Because think about that today. Are you willing to talk to people that you know have a different opinion than you do about God? Are you willing to do that? Do you have the freedom and the knowing that you can speak your truth and still be safe and still be heard? I mean, I don't mind standing up here because I know you people are looking for the unity principles. But I don't go out there like Jesus did and just travel from city to city telling every person that I come by that, you know, they are one with God. I haven't found that sense of freedom yet. I don't have that sense of freedom. Because sometimes, even when I'm talking to unity people, I get criticized. So, why would I go out there and tell somebody from a Baptist church that, God and I are one, that God and you are one? But that didn't bother Jesus. He walked the world spreading his message, knowing who he was, knowing he was free to do that, to speak his words of wisdom to the world. He was not afraid. He was never a person in bondage. He had his freedom because he knew who he was. He knew God was with him every step of the way, and he told the truth, even when he's getting crucified, even when he's talking to Pilate, and Pilate asked him, why are you not speaking to me? Why are you not defending yourself? Don't you see I have the power to set you free or to crucify you? And what does he say? You have no power over me. God is the only thing that has power over me. Now, I don't know how many of us, the rest of us, would have done that. I would have started talking. They were accusing him of being the king of the Jews, and he wouldn't say a word. So there's another story in the Bible. It's Jesus who's gone traveling, and he's tired, and he sits down at a well. And there's a woman who comes to get water from the well. She's a Samaritan. And back in the day, Jews and Samaritans were not to communicate with each other. They were just not supposed to even recognize each other. So first of all, he knows his freedom. So he sees the Samaritan lady. Does it bother him that she's a Samaritan? No. He asks, can I have some water? And she's absolutely appalled that he would even ask her that, because Jews are not supposed to communicate with them. Why are you asking me? She's just crazy. And then Jesus says to her, well, if you would ask me for water, I would give it to you. And the water I give you is living water. And if you take of my living water, you will never thirst again. Well, this really blows her mind. She goes, you don't have a bucket, you don't have anything to get water out of this well. How can you be giving me water? She just doesn't get it. And so he finally tells her that you have to look within, that you have to make that connection to the Christ. And so she starts talking about, well, if you can do that, then you must be the Messiah. And he says, yes, I am the Christ. So this lady finally identifies, now if you take this story personally, she's finally recognizing the Christ that is within her. She finally makes that connection to that freedom, that she doesn't have to get water out of that well, that there's a living water, and that living water, she will never be thirsty again. Freedom comes from knowing that. Freedom comes from knowing that Christ within you is that entity within you where you will never thirst. You will never need for anything. You will never want for anything, because you have that living water of the Christ right there within you. So she recognizes who he is. And she goes, oh, well, can I drink from your water? And he tells her to go tell her husband. And she says, I don't have a husband. Like, you're crazy again. I don't even have a husband. And he says, you've had 5 husbands, and you are correct. The one you're living with is not your husband yet. Well, that really blows her mind. And she's convinced now that he's a prophet, he's a Messiah, he's something. And she goes and tells her husband. And in the meantime, the disciples come back. And they can't believe he's talking to a Samaritan. But Jesus is in that place of true freedom. He's not afraid to talk to anybody. And they question him about it, and he doesn't really say too much. And then all of a sudden, they're thinking he's hungry, because that's where they were, going to get food. Can I please give you some food? And Jesus says, you do not know of the food I eat of. Jesus is not hungry. So just see the freedom there is in knowing who and what you are. He's not hungry. He's been fed by the Holy Spirit. He doesn't need food at that point in time. So just imagine what this Christ in you can do if we really start depending on him in everything. If you truly start depending on God or Christ within you, whatever you want to call it, for your finances, for your relationships, for your happiness, for the love that you are, do you see how freedom would be yours? Freedom would be yours. You would no longer be worried about what somebody else thought about you for talking to somebody who you're not supposed to be talking to. You have the freedom of knowing that you're always provided for. You have the freedom of knowing that you are always secure and safe in that power and presence of God. You're not depending on anything in the outer world to keep you safe. You're not depending on anyone else to make you feel accepted and loved. You're not depending on anything in the outer world. And that is what truly makes you free. Because you have chosen to believe the truth of who you are. Jesus says, seek the truth and the truth will set you free. Because you have that power within you. You have that power, that grace, that greatness right there within you. If you would just put your faith and trust in it, if you would get excited about it, if you would live that way, every day you would be on top of the world every day of your life. Because what somebody else says wouldn't matter to you anymore. Because what's going on in the world wouldn't frighten you anymore, because you would know you're safe in God all the time. You wouldn't be afraid to talk to people who don't have the same beliefs as you. You would be sharing your words of truth. And Jesus was not afraid to die. He knew what his job was in the world, and he did it. And none of us should be afraid to die. Because let me tell you, I have a feeling what's after here is going to blow your mind. Just like this lady who doesn't know what the living water is. What comes after this, I'm sure we don't know, or we would all just kick the bucket and go. It's one reason why we don't know. So to me, if I know whatever comes after this lifetime is 100 times better than what I am experiencing now, why the heck would I be afraid of dying? There is no reason to be afraid. To know that God is always with you. To know that the highest and best is always being created for you. Why would you ever be afraid to die? Now, I've worked in hospice before, and I know there's lots of people who die who have been taught they're going to go to hell. And yes, if you had taught me that and I believed it, yes, I would be very much afraid to die. But that is not the truth. That is not the truth. Jesus has proven to us that we have eternal life. Jesus has proven to us time and time again that if we know our oneness with God, if we know who we are, if we can feel that power and presence, we are free. You're not afraid of somebody who has the power to make you free or sentence you to death. You just tell them they have no power over you. Even though the world of appearance, it looks like he has every bit of power over him. But Jesus knows You kill me, I go on. I'm with God. I'm doing my greatness. So even if you choose to crucify me, you don't stop me. You do nothing to me. It just gives me more power to do the things that I want to do. So I'm not afraid of dying. If you truly have the freedom to believe in who you are, that beautiful child of God, having that power and presence right there with you 24/7, having the power to overcome any challenges that are in your way, how could you never not be in that place of being on top of the world? You can't. If you truly 24/7 believe that God's power in you is greater than anything that is in the world, there is no way that you could have a day that isn't on top of the world. So let's get excited and claim that freedom. Take all those bondages off of depending on something else to make us happy, depending on something else to make us feel secure, depending on something else to love us. Because guess what? You are already all those things. You are already it. There's nothing you are lacking in anything. So, are we truly free? Can you truly live a life not afraid of anything as Jesus did? I mean, he's our way shower. He's done it. There's lots of people out there who have done it. So we can do it too. We can do it too. Quit worrying about what people think about us. Quit worrying about what I've said or haven't said that has hurt somebody else. Because you know that was never our intention. And we're all human. We all do things and say things that we sometimes don't think we should have done. But guess what? God loves us anyway. The universe loves you anyway. Because that's what you are. We are the only things that beat ourselves up. We really do. So let's let go of beating ourselves up. Let go of the drama. Let go of everything that doesn't say, I am an amazing child of God. Because that's what you truly are. And I don't care what's in your environment or what's happening. The truth is, you are an amazing child of God every day. And in that belief, if you put your faith and belief in that, then yes, you are truly free. You are free from condemning yourself, from condemning others. You are free to create your own dreams. You're free to create your own prosperity. You are free. There's not one time when Jesus was ever starving and he didn't go traveling with a suitcase of food with him like we do. He didn't go traveling with a suitcase of clothes. He just went traveling, trusting that the universe would take care of him. And it did. It did. They don't call him homeless in the Bible. They don't say he lived in poverty, going from town to town, preaching his words of wisdom. No. No. God took care of him. People would feed him. They would go fishing. He was always provided for. He always had clothes to wear because he knew who he was. He knew his oneness with God all the time. So there's your freedom. Knowing your oneness with God all the time. Knowing that you are loved all the time. And seeing that godly presence in everyone else. And not being afraid to talk to them. He was never afraid. He knew who he was. He knew his freedom. And he talked to the Samaritan with no problems. So, Our freedom is here. This is the 4th of July. Are you ready to claim it? Are you ready to claim who you are? Are you ready to step out there in the love and grace of God and live each day as if you're on the top of the world? Knowing even if you have some aches and pains that God is working within you to heal those aches and pains. And yes, I may not feel perfect today, but I'm feeling better than yesterday. I'm feeling better than yesterday. And you know what? I got arms that don't hurt. I got a neck that don't hurt. So I'm doing good. The rest of my body will catch up. You know? Pain is just a sign that the power and presence of God is there. Working, healing, renewing, restoring. So don't get stressed out about it. I mean, a lot of times we think the pain's never going to go away, and I think we delay the process. If you knew with all your heart that God's power, God's presence was right there, healing it with every throb of pain, maybe even not even calling it pain, calling it love. Every time you feel it, it's love, love, love. See, then you're calling it something else. Instead of recreating more pain, you have chosen to call it love. And I bet it would quit hurting a lot faster. So, today, we are going to celebrate our freedom. We have no chains. We have no shackles. We are not worried. We're not in a place of fear, because fear is the worst thing that can ever happen to us. It shuts us down, just like last Sunday. God cannot help us when our hand is like this. And that's how it is when we're in a place of fear. Has to be open. It has to be open. All right. So we're not going into fear anymore, right? We're not afraid to die, because dying just makes me even more special, more excited, more joy, more love than I could ever experience happens when I die. So why am I afraid of it? I'm not. Okay? Which takes a big chain off my back, because a lot of times we make decisions based upon fear of dying. Right? Fear of running out of money. Fear of dying, because we won't have the money to pay for food that we need to survive, right? So it's all based upon fear. So we let go of the chains of fear. We let go of the chains of judgment. We let go of the fear of security, needing it from something outside ourselves. We let all that go, and we stand in our truth, just as Jesus did. He was free to walk the planet at a time that was very violent, that didn't believe in the message he was telling, and he did it anyway. He did it anyway. And he got his followers. He had his 12 disciples, even more. And he did what he intended to do, which proved that life is eternal. So why not? We got a little group here. We can do the same thing. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Stand in your truth. Don't be afraid of what the world of appearance is showing you. Stand in your truth. Choose to create something else. Because we know we have the power of imagination right there within our own mind. And I choose to see a world of peace. I choose to see a world of love. I choose a world of beauty. And I don't care what the news wants to say out there. I don't care who's telling me something differently. Because I know the truth. You may believe that the world is like that, but I choose no. My world is not like that. My little world right here in Phoenix, Arizona is not like that. Because I choose not to create it. Now it is in race consciousness, the collective consciousness, so it is out there. But it's not in my world. It's not in my world. And I choose not to create it. So today we're celebrating that freedom of knowing God within you, that freedom of feeling God's power, God's presence right within you, that feeling of security, that feeling of infinite love and wisdom. If you trust in that wisdom within you, you never have to make another decision in your life. Because you're tapped in, tuned into that wisdom that knows exactly what you need to do. All decision making is gone. Because you know. You know exactly what it is you need to do. So see the freedom in connecting to God. Making God your top priority. Making that connection to God and living in the grace of God gives you freedom. True freedom. True freedom. So let's take that message into meditation. So let's close our eyes. And just take a deep breath. And feel that power and presence of God that is right there within your own mind, in your own heart. God is saying, I am here, my child, and I am here always. So I set you free. My love sets you free from all worry. My love sets you free to be all that you've been created to be. So the sky is the limit. Create, use your power of imagination. You have my love always. So don't be afraid. For my love, my power for you is greater than anything showing up in your life or in your world. So trust me. Live on top of the world every day, knowing that I am here, that you are safe in my love always. There is nothing that can harm you, for you are the divine. You are an expression of God. You are the hands and the heart of God that is here to heal our planet, to transform our world. So today we truly celebrate our freedom in knowing who we are, our freedom in having faith in God, our freedom knowing that we can do the impossible. For Jesus said, these things I do, you can do, and even greater. So we claim our freedom today. And we know that we can do impossible things. That we have the power to be all that God has created us to be. So take this time to feel that freedom, to feel that power that is right there within your own mind, to feel the power and presence of God that is moving in and through you right now, saying, you are free. So let yourself become aware of your surroundings and wrap all that light under the soles of your feet. Listen to the music James is playing. Whenever you're ready, open your eyes And let your heart be filled with joy for the newfound freedom that you are experiencing in this moment, right now.
When in times of tribulation, when it seems the darkness has no end, keep the faith and always know that the sun will rise again. But each person, old and young, has to take a stand today and rise up with his head held high and say, we the people of this nation, all across this hallowed land, stand for justice, oh, and freedom, side by side and hand in hand. Now and forever we make the sacrifice, because keeping freedom's promise is worth the price. They pledge their sacred honor, their fortunes and their lives, to forge a land in liberty, and today it still survives. But from declaring independence to the shores of Normandy, we know that freedom is never free. And we sing, we the people of this nation, all across this hallowed land, stand for justice, hope, and freedom, side by side and hand in hand. Now and forever we make the sacrifice, because keeping freedom's promise is worth the price. Oh, glory is our banner, long may she wave over the whole of the free and the brave. We, the people of this nation, all across this hallowed land, stand for justice, hope, and freedom, side by side and hand in hand. Now and forever we make the sacrifice, because keeping freedom's promise is worth the price. We the people, know freedom's worth the price.